This video is to help users who are using the standard gINT US or Canada or similar setup files for water levels. This assumes that you have the water levels table with a reading event, as well as the other additional information, but primarily the reading event and depth. Under data markers, you will have water levels markers. If not, you would need to add some. You can import them from another gINT library. If you go to the report design, in most any report inside of the gINT Standard US Lab or Canada, you can see here, this is the entity with your groundwater measurements in an existing report. So if you have the standard gINT US Lab, any field that's yellow you must fill in. So we have a width and we have our discrete graphics with expression. Note this is a discrete graphics versus depth column. I'm going to cancel out of this real quick. So if I were to come over to log, column, discrete graphic versus depth is what I would choose. Here you can see I have a column width, and this already has all the information, so I'm just going to go ahead and reset it. And let's make that column width of 0.1. For the depth expression, what I'm going to do is I'm just adding it on to the existing report just as an example. So for the depth expression, you can put something if you had a water level at a depth or a sample at a depth, but what we actually have are user system data functions. So I'm going to come down, user system data, and it is water. Don't hit the date time, water depth, and you have after drilling, at time of drilling, and end of drilling. So we're going to start with ATD, and we paste, tab over, select our discrete graphic. There's our water level. We're just going to start with 1. You can pick whichever one you want. I just decided on that one. Water level, end of drilling, paste. I'm going to pick water level 2. Yep, paste it. There we go. And water level after drilling, AD, paste, tab. And now we pick our water level 3. There are several water levels, so you don't have to pick the 3. That's just what I did. And I say OK. So now I have this information. You have the override height and width. We didn't look to see what it was. I would advise if you saw what it's on a previous report, you follow those because it's probably there for a reason. Override width, you do not have to set it. Horizontal alignment, we're just going to pick center and center. This is something that you can play with if you so desire and figure out how it works. As for the X, we have to decide where to put it. If we want to put in an override color, we could definitely put in a color if our reports are going to be printed out. And if you had a configuration or other more information about your column, the column header label. Here in this report, we don't want a water level, so we're not going to put in a level in for a column header. And then you have the column lines information. If you want to draw the bottom of the last page, etc. Whatever you choose to do, I recommend you do it consistently across the report. So check what's being done in the other report, in the rest of the report before you set things, because you usually want uniformity. So we'll say OK. And since I didn't put in an X, put it automatically at the end of the report. So if I were to look, it is at probably 7.6. If I look at it, 7.6. So it automatically adds on. If I wanted to, I could override it and put it wherever, but I'm just doing that as a demonstration to show you how to create it and that it works. So that's why it's here. Now that we have this added on, what I'm going to do is go to my output. I'm just going to pick one borehole, say OK, preview my report. And here you can see my groundwater level graphics that I added on. So in a report, normally I wouldn't want to necessarily have them off to the side, beyond the printing edges. And, I was just kind of showing you a proof of concept of how to do it, because you can see in the actual column here how it's set up. So you can play around a lot with that and do what you need to do. But I would recommend if you go into report design, as I said, looking at the other reports and maybe looking at how water level is set up in the other ones, especially if you like how it's set up. Center, default center. And then also, as I said, the configuration, uh, boundary line. Oh, nope, nope, nope. It would be column line. So, how they have these set up so that you know. And they're all set up to look similar.